Hi, Coach Lalisa here, the Success Coach. I want to talk to you today about how to beat self defeat. Well, on the radio show this morning, I talked about some ways that you can beat self defeat. But before I talk about ways you can beat self defeat, I want to first talk about what do we mean by defeat? Well, defeat is when you feel like a failure. Defeat is when you feel like everything is coming against you. You feel like you really don't have any options for winning. So I want to talk to you about how you can beat that feeling of losing, that feeling of failure, and how you can begin to operate on this, what I call a success, a powerful success track. If you want to know more about that, by all means, stay tuned to the end of this little clip, and I will give you some information how you can find out more about how to get this powerful success. But as we said, how to beat self defeat. Now, think about defeat. As I did on the radio show, I was defining defeat. And if you want to think of it like fighting, think about two boxers in a ring fighting. Or if you're into sports, you could think about the athletes, or if you're into entertainment, you could think about some of these entertainment contest shows where people are competing to win. Well, if you think about fighting, I like to relate it to that because people often can think about that. I mean, that's pretty easy to picture because we've seen, so much of it most of our lives. But in a fight, what happens? The fighter has an opponent. The other opponent, you know, beats them up. Somehow the other opponent wins and they're defeated. Well, that is one way to look at defeat. So, what then is self defeat? Self defeat is very similar, but it's you're the opponent. It's where you are beating up yourself. Now that I've said that, and if you go on and repeat it yourself, that just really sounds horrible. You know, self defeat is not a place that you want to be. And when we think of people who live these self defeating lives, we think of a person who is really harming themselves, a person who is self destructive, a person who is putting themselves in harm's way, or putting themselves in a lot of situations where they will end up suffering. I know all too well about suffering and putting oneself in harm's way. I did that most of my life. Even as a child, I would constantly get around friends who I thought were friends, and come to find out they were more people who just wanted to hurt someone. And then, even as a young adult, I got into relationships where people were suffering and hurtful and very demeaning. So I've had experience with that. And what happens over time, we incorporate these feelings, these beliefs, these behavior into our own thinking. And so we want to defeat that. You want to win. You want to win at life. You want to win at your own success. And what I'm telling you is that you have the power to help yourself. It's all inside of you. So what I want you to do is, first, I want you to get over any past hurts, any past failures. And this is on the road to beating self defeat. Just get over it. It happened. Acknowledge it. Maybe even, throw it one more last hurrah, one more last party for focusing on self defeat, past failure, past hurt, past pain. It was real. It really happened. You really went through it. But guess what? You've come through it, and now you're on the other side, believe it or not. And now that you're on the other side, as a success coach and trainer, it is my job to help you move forward. So first, get your mind right. The second thing is, I want you to start to see who in your life is causing a lot of this, who's adding to it. So I shouldn't say they're not causing it, but they may be adding to it by being negative, constantly constantly making defeating comments. Every time you have something that you want to do, something you want to experience, a place that you want to go, these are the individuals who will pretty much, put you down, tell you why you can't do it. Now, it's one thing if you're talking about doing something that's going to be harmful to yourself, and then you have someone cautioning you, advising you not to do this. Well, that is somebody you want to keep around. But if these are just individuals who are always stomping on your dreams, who are always being negative about something that you're very positive and excited about, these are individuals that you may want to think about removing them from your inner circle. Placing them at a distance, a very far distance. Now, if it's a close family member, you'll have to do sort of a mental distance. Some people you have to be in physical proximity with them. Maybe they're a co-worker, they could be a supervisor. Like I say, it could be a loved one, it could be a spouse, it could be a parent, it could be a child, it could be a sibling, or some other close family member. At that point, you really can't get rid of them, especially if it's your spouse or if it's your parents and you live at home with them. But you can distance them mentally. So, I remember when I was a teenager or a young, very, very young woman, there was a song out that said, my body is here with you, but my mind is on the other side of town. And that's what we mean by that mental distance. I mean, you're there, you're smiling, you're still doing your thing, but you're really not into what they're saying. You're not into the negative comments that they're making. That is only going to help you go further and further and deeper into self-defeat. And you don't want to be in self-defeat, because the research shows that a self-defeating attitude and personality is borderlining a mental personality disorder. And as you release your power and become who you really are, we're trying to be people of order. We want to be a success. So definitely the first thing is, don't focus on the past. Don't focus on any failures that you have. Don't focus on the negative things that have already happened to you. Get your mind focusing on good things. Get your mind focusing on where you want to go. Yes, again, you can acknowledge where you've been. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to focus on it. You don't want to dwell on it and keep reliving that story over and over and over. And then you want to get rid of people in your life that are negative. And then next, you also want to get around people that are positive. Seek them out. You may find them in social media networks. You may find them at meetup groups. You may find them at your local community college. Maybe you'll find them at your local house of worship. Maybe you'll find them in your organization or your company. But do the work. Do what you can to find positive people. If you can't, you can always contact me, email me as a coach, mentor. Those are the things that I can help you do to identify where these people are and show you how to get in touch with them. And then the last thing that I would say that you should do in this how to beat self-defeat, I want you to begin to use positive affirmations. So I have 3 that I've been using for a little while now. They really work. And it is, I can, I will, and I must. Positive affirmations. They're very, very short. I learned them from a motivational speaker about 8 years ago, and I've been using them ever since. And it really helps. And, he just helped put the words to it. I had already been living it out, as I'm sure many of you have as well. So, I can, I will, and I must. Those are just 3 affirmations, but there are so many others that you can also use. I'm sure that we'll have others for you over time. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you today about how to beat self-defeat. You no longer have to go around with a defeatist attitude, leading you to a defeatist personality, leading you to this defeatist behavior that will eventually end up in a defeated destiny. You don't deserve that. You deserve to be happy, you deserve to be successful, and you deserve to be a winner. So now, until next time, I want you to go to my website, www.release-your-power.com, and on that website there are several things you can do there. Number one, you can get a free 15-minute coaching session with myself. You can also get a free chapter one of the book, Release Your Power. And I'm so excited. We have some great information. I have great news that's coming out about the book, about the program. So I want you to definitely keep in touch. Stay connected through Facebook, through Twitter. On Facebook, you can look me up through Coach Lalisa. On Twitter, Coach Lalisa, and also on LinkedIn and Pinterest. Now, here's the thing. I want you to go and grab those freebies from my website, release-your-power.com. You're going to get a free 15-minute coaching session, and you get a free chapter of the book, Release Your Power. So go over to that website. Also, we have training and other forms of self-improvement, self-development to help you become the success that you want to see. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Coach Lalisa.